We're gonna try this out. I don't know how this is gonna work, but okay. So I guess I'm gonna try to do this format to replace the actual like lab lectures that we're supposed to give when there's no virus sweeping the nation. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna screen record a little like lecture or whatever on my iPad, and then we'll go over like kind of the main things that you want to look out for during the actual virtual lab, and I'll have my voice overlaid on that, and I'll put that on YouTube or something. You can share with your friends in other sections if you want, but this is I know this is like a really shitty way of doing things, but it's the best that we got. Again, always contact me via email, via text if you want to talk about anything in any lab or any quiz or whatever. Uh, there's no reason you can't get 100% in any of those if you just come and talk to me for office hours, or literally you can just like contact me anytime and we can just set up a Zoom right there on the spot. Yeah? Okay, great. Okay, so this is my first time trying to do this like screen recording thing. We'll see how it works. Okay. This is notes from something else. Okay, so let's start with question one. Okay, so we're going to go over the concept of sister groups real quick before we actually jump into the lab. And just in terms of cladistics and like phylogenetic trees, they're really important for the class. You have to understand how phylogenetic trees work. Basically, you have like something that looks like this. The bottom of the tree is old. The top of the tree is new in terms of evolutionary time. So as you go further up, you're becoming more recent. Okay, and this is basically a roadmap for telling you how things are related. And they involve these intersections of lines called nodes. And they have these branches called branches. Okay. At the end, at the very top of the tree, each branch ends in an organism or a group of organisms. And you're comparing the ends of these branches and how they branch away from each other based on their node patterns. That's how you can tell how closely related they are. Okay, so let's go over the term sister group. Sister group. How you find a sister group and how you navigate the tree itself. So I'm going to give you a really quick breakdown. Just follow this rule. Down, switch, up. So let's say you're looking for a sister group of B. Right, you have A, B, C. So you start out with B, you go down to the node right below it, then you switch branches from that node, and then you go up to the next node or branch. So in this case, the sister group of B is C. And you can check your the lecture notes, and you can check the actual notes that Tina wrote up to kind of follow this lecture, or follow this lab rather, to kind of get a better understanding of that. But this trick will always work. So that's how you find sister groups, right? And so sister groups are also the most related group or most related organism on that tree to the one that you are looking at. So C in this tree is, or C is most closely related to B in this tree. B is most closely related to C in this tree because they're sister groups. Okay? Okay, so I said node or branch, so let's try something else, right? Let's try this. A, B, C, D, and we'll say E and F are going to be the nodes. So what is the sister group of D? You go down to the node below it, we'll call this G, and you go up to the next node or branch. In this case, it's a node. So F is the most closely related group to D. And F represents A, B, and C, okay? Because they're all branching, or they come off of F. Does that make sense? F is the most recent common ancestor of A, B, and C. So with that in mind, let's get started on problem 1. So I won't show it on this chart, but I'll kind of draw it out. I won't actually have the actual quiz itself, but I'll draw it out. So, and I'm not going to answer every single question, right? That would be cheating, but I'm going to kind of walk you through the idea. So I'll give you just enough of a head start to actually do the lab. So you have croc over here, you have giant deer, you have spider monkey, and you have gorilla. And then you have primates. These are the nodes: primates, mammals, and tetrapods. Okay. So, what is the sister group of the spider monkey? So this is the organism that you're looking at, or this is the group that you're looking at, and trying to find the sister group, right? So you go down to this node primates, and then you'd switch branches on that node, and then go up to the next node or branch. In this case, the branch is gorillas, right? And so that should be able to allow you to answer the remainder of this page. So questions 1, 2, and 3. So let's move on to questions 4, 5, and 6. Waiting for gouge space to load. Okay, so in this case, you're looking at another tree, and here there are a couple of tricky things in this set of questions. But this set of questions is basically asking you to kind of think about trees that are the same and how they might look different. Okay, so remember, the only thing that matters is how branches connect to nodes. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have A, B, and C, right? Well, this tree over here, this tree right here, that can be rewritten to look like this: C, B, A, right? Because the same branches are attached to the same nodes. So in this case, let's say this is 1, 2, this is node 1, this is node 2. B and C are both come off of a node 1, and then on node 2, A is coming off of it, and then a group that includes B and C is coming off of it in node 1. Sorry, let me explain that again. So node 1 has B and C attached to it, and node 2 has A and then B, C attached to it. So what you're effectively doing is you're swiveling this this branch right here. You're swapping these B and C, the placement on this tree, but it doesn't matter because they're at the same level. Okay? And that's a little complicated. If you don't understand, please come to me in office hours, because that's a really important thing, trying to find the equivalence of different trees. And so really quickly, I'm going to kind of teach you how to kind of functionally do that. So we're going to look at question 8, and the tree is A, B, C, D, E. And it's asking you select all cladograms that depict the same branching sequence. So which of the bottom trees are the same? And so what I like to do is I like to start from the top, and for each node, I kind of make a dotted line across the tree, right? And I kind of make an order, right? Remember, trees are the same when they have the same branching pattern. So we'll start with level 1, 2, 3, and we'll order the levels, okay? So for level 1, D and E are branched off the same node. For level 2, C is branched off of a node with D and E. For level 3, B is branched off of a node with a group that contains C, D, and E. And then 4, A is branched off of a node with a group that contains B, C, D, and E. Okay, this order of node and branch connectivity will always remain the same in dendrograms that are the same. So let's start with the first. I'm just going to go over the first example, and then hopefully it will, well, we'll just try it out. A, B, E, D, C. Okay, again, we start at the node that is the highest. Draw a dotted line. Second one, third one, and fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and let's try this branching pattern. So at the first level, you get D and E are branching off the same node. 2, you have C and a group containing D and E. 3, you have B branching off of a node that contains a group with E, D, and C. So B, C, D, E. And then 4, you have a branch A that's branching off of a node that contains B, E, D, C. So B, C, D, E. If you look at these, each level is the same. So the branching pattern is the same, which means these two trees, even though they don't look the same, are the same. And basically what's happening is all these nodes are being swiveled, all these branches on their nodes are being swiveled around, and so they look really mixed up. But as long as you follow the same connectivity of nodes to branches, you will be fine. Okay, and I'm going to let you do the rest. Okay, I'm going to move on to question 9. Okay, so a thing to remember here is that when you have like a node that's named, let's say right here we're talking plants, right? There is a evolutionary trait that occurs below that node which defines that whole clade, that whole group. Right? Let's say, sorry, instead of A, we'll say carrots and pine trees, which is actually on the dendrogram. Here, right here, what is this? Well, okay. We'll just say there is a set of characteristics or one characteristic that is at this area right here that defines everything up here. So plants, like we'd say like leaves or something like that, like I don't know, chlorophyll, which is not, that's actually not true, but there are evolutionary traits that make up a dendrogram. That's how, in paleontology, that's how you make these trees. You look at the organisms that are on this tree and you list all their traits. And whichever traits have the most in common with the other organisms, you do a statistical like analysis and see, based on who shares the same traits, which organisms are more closely related to each other. Okay, and so the take-home message for question 9, make sure you list the traits below the actual node that represents that group of organisms. So if this node, again, is plants, then all the traits should fall below that node. And that, I think, should answer most of question 9 and 10 and all those things that are related to that. 11, most closely related organism. You should know that based on what I talked about earlier. What else? Oh. I think that those tips should really carry you through the entire lab. Again, if you have any questions, really come talk to me. It's really hard for me to really broadcast the entirety of this lab just in this format. But if we meet face to face, you can ask your very specific questions I can help direct your specific kind of learning that you need to really hone in on. Okay, so yeah, let's work with this for now, and then you can give me some feedback. See if you think that this format is helpful. Give me some tips or constructive criticism, and I'll try to make this like transition as easy for you guys as possible. Okay, great. Let me coordinate the stopping time for